feels a little surreal, to be quite honest with you. But this is the place that like completely altered my path, and in a good way. Like it's the reason I am where I am today.
Welcome to episode 263 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. The Super Bowl is over, and we can now officially say it's baseball season. Pitchers and catchers have started reporting to Major League Baseball spring training camps. Position players will officially report early next week, and the first Cactus League game, you can put it in your schedule. The Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres do battle February 22nd. The rest of the 30 teams will begin Cactus and Grapefruit League action 2 days later. We'll keep you posted on how players with Alberta ties do during spring training, and then we'll recap where they all land in their respective organizations as we get closer to opening day. And again, take out your day planner. It's set for March 28th, so book the day off. Now, there is plenty of baseball action stateside as the college scene is well underway. Among the highlights this week, Alberta-wise, episode 231 guest Quinn Toshnick picked up his first win in relief, firing 3 solid innings for Rogers State in a 9-2 win over Colorado Christian. His Okotoks Dogs teammate Trent Lanahan was outstanding for the UBC Thunderbirds over the week, picking up 13 hits in 4 games, including 2 home runs and 6 RBI, en route to being named the Canadian Baseball Network's College Player of the Week. And Vauxhall Academy grad and Sylvan Lake Gulls hurler Ty Boudreau keeps doing what he does best, striking out hitters. The 2023 WCBL Pitcher of the Year struck out 9 in just 4 innings of work to lead Midland College to a 6-5 win over Trinidad State. On the commitment front, congratulations going out to Dogs Academy backstop Chase Logan on landing with Lynn Benton Community College. It's the same school where his brother, who is Arizona Diamondbacks prospect Gavin Logan, started his junior college career. And a couple of events we're looking forward to have been announced recently. Prep Baseball Canada is sending 2 teams to the Futures Games, and Alberta will be hosting a pair of trials. The first will be at the Shop by Sherwood Park Minor Baseball March 9th, while the second will go at Dogs Academy in Okotoks on April 17th. Meantime, Prairie Baseball Academy and the Lethbridge Bulls have announced the 3rd annual Mitch Ball Memorial Tournament has been scheduled for May 24th to 26th. Teams in 10U, 11U, and 12U are invited to register. You can follow either of those 2 organizations on social media for all the details and appropriate links. Speaking of PBA, that's where we're heading this week for the podcast. The program recently held its annual banquet and awards night celebrating the best of the year and also inducting 2 new members to the PBA Hall of Fame. Rob Greeno and Rob Watt are both former players who have given back to the program in a variety of ways over the years. We'll hear from them both in a few minutes, but first, our Ian Wilson checks in with PBA head coach Todd Hubka.
Todd, why don't we just start with tonight and what this night means? You get all dudded up, you get the shirt and tie on, you get to meet with a lot of your supporters. What does it mean just as an organization and an academy to have a night like tonight?
Yeah, it's a very, very special evening for the Prairie Baseball Academy, especially from, where we've come from. I think this is our 29th year. And, the early days of, kind of like the Lethbridge Bulls, same thing. Like, are we getting able to survive and keep this thing going to the Nolan family helping us build a facility, to our indoor, to, and it all comes down to like functions like this where, 4 years ago we started honoring old board members and Prairie Baseball Academy alumni and started our Hall of Fame. But without those early years of the people that helped develop this program to what it has become today is, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. So this is a very special night, and it's always, I enjoy where it's gone into the Hall of Fame, where tonight we're inducting Rob Watt and Rob Greeno, and rightfully so. They're, absolutely they should be going into our Hall of Fame.
Yeah, maybe that was my next question, actually. If you can just give us a rundown, a bit of a Cole's notes and background on the Hall of Fame inductees tonight, why they've meant so much to the program, and why you felt it was necessary to or important to acknowledge them tonight.
Yeah, so we have a PBA alumni group now that actually they're the ones that go out and try to find, who should be going into the Hall of Fame. And we still use Coach Kubasek and myself to go to help them out because, they were only here for a few years, where we've basically been here since day one. But, they do a great job at announcing to these two guys, and the ones from the past too. But Rob Greeno, he's from Lethbridge, originally from Lethbridge. He went on and played at Mayville State, and basically came back. And since he was back here, he jumped on the Prairie Baseball Academy board, and he's kind of one of the original startups of our alumni association. So, when he was in charge of, running the poker, our alumni poker tournament and our golf tournament. And, he's still on our board, but, it's just everything that the man's done for us. It's unbelievable how much he has helped our program through all the events that he helps help us run. So, and he's, since we've lost a few of our old board members, Rob's really taken over the golf tournament, and, it's been a great success where, that money goes right into scholarship, and it's, we use that money for these kids. And this year, I think the golf scholarship fund is like $35,000 that's going back to these kids. And that's, that's all Rob. And so it's greatly appreciated what he's done for our program. And Rob Watt, he was actually here my first year of coaching, and, redshirted his first year, and came back and played here for 2 years, and went on to Wayne State in Nebraska, and got his degree there and started his coaching career there, and ended up going to Mount Olive, where he won a Division II World Series with 3 of our PBA alumni: David Cooper, Mike Kissia, Dylan Holton. Cooper made the last 3 outs of the World Series for them to clinch it, playing shortstop for them. So, but same thing, blue collar kid, worked his butt off. If I strongly feel if Prairie Baseball Academy wasn't here, that he probably never would have had the opportunity to play college baseball. But he learned what it took to be able to go down to the States and really to compete down there. And he had a great college career, but he's a great coach, and we just want to honor him for for what he's done for all the alumni. There's 20 alumni that have played for him since he started coaching. So tonight's going to be pretty special. I think there's about 10 of them that'll be here.
I won't try to keep you too much longer. I know you've got a busy night. There's lots of moving parts on a night like tonight, but I do want to ask you just a couple quick questions about the CCBC season, which is upon us soon, and just maybe give us a look ahead to what we can expect from PBA heading into this season, and what you like, strengths, weaknesses, all that kind of good stuff.
I really like our team this year. I think we're past the COVID years now, and we're kind of back to what Prairie Baseball Academy was all about. And it was, we're based at like a junior college program. The kids are here for 2 years, and we try to move them on to U.S. scholarships. And, we have a really young group that is very athletic, and we should be at the top of the league this year again, and trying to, win a league championship, and hopefully playing, at Spitz Stadium on May long weekend for a championship on the Sunday. So, as far as the CCBC, the league just keeps growing, and it gets better and better every year. And there's talent on every team, and you have to play your best if you're gonna win your weekend series. And and that's what we like, and we want to play against the best, and hopefully, like I said, we're playing for a championship in May.
Now on to the distinguished guests, and we'll start with Rob Greeno, who is Lethbridge born and raised, rising through the Little League and American Legion programs to play with PBA from 2002 to 2005. After his playing days came to an end, he joined the program's board in 2010 and is a major supporter and organizer for a variety of events, serving as the PBA Alumni Association president until 2020.
Rob, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, man. That's it's a big honor. That's for sure.
Let's get the origin story with PBA. How did you end up playing in the program, and what drew you to the program originally?
Sure. So grew up in Lethbridge, got to go through Little League, where my dad coached me for a number of years. Randy Ruff and my dad coached, a number of other coaches. So my dad basically coached me from T-ball all the way up to junior, and then got to a level of high school and American Legion where he stopped coaching me and became a fan in the stands, and got to go really through a really good high school program at CCH, and then American Legion, go down south, play against a lot of American teams, and just get that experience, right? And then out of American Legion, coming out of high school, just kind of being a local kid, we had the Prairie Baseball Academy here in town, and I wanted to continue to play baseball. So tried out for the team and made the junior varsity team for the first year, and then played another 2 years of senior ball, and ultimately ended up getting the opportunity to go down south to Mayville State in North Dakota and played another 2 years there underneath Coach Barry.
Now you've stuck with the program. You've been involved. To walk us through some of your involvement with the program over the decade.
Sure. So, I mean, growing up, both my parents, my dad especially, did a lot of volunteer work, and he was on a number of boards. My mom with the Kinets, I think it was called back then. But just grew up in a household where volunteering was important, and I got to see that the time they got to put into it, and just hearing about the value they get back, right? Like being able to go and help others. So Keith Jorgensen actually approached me. I forget where we were, but he recommended that I take part and join the board, and thought I could help out in some way. So I've always been kind of in the mind that my best support is helping with events and fundraisers and stuff like that. Not a huge fan of sitting through long meetings, so I like to be involved where I can actually go do something and make some money for the program. So Keith had brought me into the board, and that was 10 plus years ago. So I got to work closely with Keith, and it was an honor that we got to rename the golf tournament after him, because I actually got to work pretty close with him and Dennis King and Glenn Seckerton and Randy Ruff and Les Caldwell on the golf committee. A lot of those guys are retired and have kind of stepped back a bit. So it was an honor working with them and being able to just go and get some funds for the program so we can provide these scholarships like we're doing tonight.
Talk a little bit about the Alumni Association, your role with that, and just how important that side of things has been.
Sure. So I joined the PBA board, and a couple of years after that, I got approached to take over the alumni board. And really, it started kind of grassroots, where we were just trying to build something up with the alumni. I mean, the PBA program hadn't been around super long, so it was important that we got together and really try and build that alumni aspect of things, where we get together as a group of alumni and try and support the program any way we could. So I was president of that for a number of years, where we held an annual poker tournament, and all the proceeds from that got donated to scholarships at the annual banquet. And then a couple years ago, I actually stepped back from the Alumni Association, and a good group of guys, previous alumni, took over, and they've just been doing a phenomenal job with that since then, helping out with the golf tournament, holding the poker tournament, and just doing a number of different things to support the program.
It's Captain Obvious question here, but engaging the alumni in an academy program like this is vital, isn't it? Maybe just talk a little bit about why that's important and what you've seen from that engagement.
For me personally, it's a way to give back to the program that gave me so much when I went through it. And really, like, until you join something like that and be involved in some capacity to give back to the program, it's a sense of community, it's a sense of giving back. And until you are involved with something like that, you never really know how much time and effort past board members, past volunteers have put into the program, and just how much work it takes to be able to support a program like this. And I think Coach Hub and Coach Kubasek back in the day, and all the volunteers back then, and really the people that helped start the program, really started something special. And it's important to give back to something that's given back to us to help us through the program.
Tonight, you're a Hall of Famer. How does that sound, and what was it like getting that call?
Honestly, just every other inductee into the Hall of Fame, I mean, super deserving. They've put in just a ton of years of help and support to the program. So I was actually quite surprised of my induction, and I truly appreciate it. I'll definitely remember this night for the rest of my life, and just look forward to continuing to help the program in any way possible.
Who gave you the call, and what was that like?
I was actually a little bit surprised because I helped run the annual Keith Jorgensen Memorial Scholarship Golf fundraiser. And before we started our round, the Alumni Association had gone up, and they'd called me up there to say thank you for all I do for helping run the tournament. And then they actually surprised me that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
What was the reaction immediately?
I was quite shocked. I didn't expect that. You help the program any way you can, and you don't expect something like that. So just for them to honor me in that way and bring me up in front of everybody, like it definitely was a humbling experience, and just goes to show the hard work that you put in. I mean, people see that, and I'm being appreciated for it. So it's a great feeling. Absolutely.
Congratulations on that, and enjoy tonight.
Thank you.
And finally, Rob Watt came to PBA from BC in 1996 and stayed for 3 years before heading stateside to finish his collegiate career. He then went into coaching, where he spent nearly 2 decades with the University of Mount Olive, winning several NCAA conference championships and helped guide 32 players to be drafted or signed by MLB teams. All the while, he kept bringing PBA alumni to the school on a few different occasions.
Rob, just tell me a little bit about how you first came to PBA.
Actually, a friend of mine and I had just lost in the BC provincial finals, and we were in the ferry line trying to get back to Vancouver Island. And it sounds kind of weird, but we just weren't ready to be normal. You know what I mean? Just going to school and whatnot. And Prairie baseball had just started up, and we had a buddy that was headed out here, and basically, we spent the entire ferry ride home discussing if we could make it happen. And it wasn't probably 10 days, 14 days later that, we were, getting an apartment and signing up for PBA. So it was kind of on a whim. It was, just wasn't ready to stop playing.
There wasn't really a lot of, we see a lot of the academy stuff now. It's really flourished, particularly in Alberta.
Sure.
There wasn't as much of that back then. Was it even more scary with that context that you didn't necessarily know what you were stepping into at the time?
That's 100% correct. I actually had no idea what to expect. You know what I mean? You have, I guess you have kind of a measuring stick of maybe how good you feel like the other guys are going to be based on, some of the competition that you've had in recent years, your 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year or whatever. But it was, I really didn't have any idea what to expect, to be quite honest with you. And it's definitely not, kind of an easy read like it is nowadays. It's pretty easy to research and, kind of dissect maybe what the exact expectations are when it was just kind of getting started. I think it was only 1 year in existence when we headed out here. So, we, like I said, it was just kind of, we went out on a whim. So.
And what did you see with the academy back then? I'm sure the academy has changed quite a bit over the years as well, but what was your experience like at that time?
Life-changing. And I don't say that to sound cliche by any means. I grew up extremely fast. I was presented with some challenges that I had never had before. I think when you grow up in a small community, maybe you have an unrealistic idea of maybe where your place is in, the baseball world or the hockey world or whatever. But then when you get on a larger scale and you've got some other guys, coming from all different parts of Canada with the same aspirations as you, the walls kind of cave in on you or close in on you a little bit. And it was life-changing. So I learned what the real world was about. You got to think, here was 2 kids getting ready to get on a ferry, go back to Vancouver Island, and 30 years later, close to it, baseball is my life. Like, I coached baseball, in North Carolina. So it was the avenue to where I'm at today.
Expand a little bit on the baseball side of things, how that set the table for you, both in terms of your collegiate career as a player, but also getting into coaching.
I think I was similar to any other, most young Canadian boys. We probably aspired to be in, the Montreal Forum and not Yankee Stadium. You know what I mean? When, the NHL draft didn't call your name, you got to explore some other options. And basically, playing wise, I had to get better a whole lot faster if I wanted to keep up. The players were good here, you know what I mean? And I guess I had to get accelerated. I had to learn it. There was a little bit more cerebral side of it. The IQ had to grow. and I had to catch up. I mean, I wasn't as good as a lot of the guys that were here, and that side of it taught me like it's a little dog eat dog. You know what I mean? And it teaches you some survival skills and whatnot. I don't want to sound dramatic when I say that, but just kind of if you want to stick around, you got to earn your keep. And to be honest with you, I think Coach Hub and Coach Kubasek, they were very. I think the most impactful part about them is like absolute truth and transparency. You know, and I appreciated that. I appreciated knowing exactly where I felt like I needed to work, what I needed to get better at if I was going to be a high contributor. And I think that I took a lot of the practices that they taught me and carried it with me into the coaching world. And,
Talk about that a little bit. Just their impact on you as a coach in your later years. You were coaching university ball, I believe, and I'm not sure where you're coaching now, but you can get into that.
Right.
And just some of the lessons imparted to you by Coach Hubka and Kubasek that you may use to this day.
well, I think this program, screams blue collar, right? It screams work and work ethic and learning how to function inside, a shared idea of what you're supposed to be. A culture, I guess, is the word we use more often than not. But I think that was where the biggest imprint was on me was, nothing in this life is free. And if you want it, the only way to go about it is to get your hands dirty and compete. And it's not going to be easy. It's actually going to be more hard than easy. And there's more bad times than there is good times. But I think they did a really good job in kind of, allowing us to figure out that, even though some of the successes aren't quite as often as maybe your failures, like they far outweigh, that tiny little taste of success far outweighs, all the kind of missteps that you had along the way. But they represented, like passion and intensity. And I think that if you can have those things, you can always have success. If people follow passion, they're inspired by that, and intensity means that you're going to be focused on what you came there to do. But those guys, I mean, they screamed the type of attitude. That was Coob's word, was attitude. They displayed the type of attitude that I think it took a Canadian kid to kind of get down there to get an opportunity to play. It wasn't as easy back then. I mean, like the social media wasn't available. These international tournaments, a little bit more few and far between. The elite of the elite, like the junior team and Team Canadas and stuff like that, those kids got the exposure that they needed. But, kids like me, not so much, right? And I think that they knew what it was going to take for us who were behind, like the amount of times that, and what I see about behind is we don't play it as much as the Americans do. My son, take my 21-year-old son, he's a Division I player, and I think about how much more baseball by the age of 21 that he played than I did. You know what I mean? And so
just getting the reps in.
That's right. And I think that Coach Kubasek and Coach Hubka, they knew that, the kids that we were going to have to be competing against, they had some volume on us. They had the experience level, and, the only way to kind of expedite the process of getting ready was to narrow your focus and make sure that you get rid of some distractions.
Where are you coaching now?
University of Mount Olive. So it's in North Carolina. It's in Eastern North Carolina. It's about an hour out of Raleigh. It's a Division II school. I've had over 20 PBA players come and play for me. There's a couple here tonight that were on our national championship team in 08. So PBA continues to be, part of my life in that sense because, I like the players. So I try to get a couple of them every year. So I got one currently right now.
You got a lot of hands to shake, maybe a few cold drinks to consume tonight. So I'll try and keep you. But maybe just touch upon this honor tonight, being inducted into this Hall of Fame and what that means to you, and maybe your reaction when you got the call as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd known where my journey, I guess is the word, started here, you would have never anticipated me and you having this conversation. So to even get a phone call, to be alongside guys like Coach Kubasek and Keith Jorgensen and, everybody else that's been in there. It feels a little surreal, to be quite honest with you. But this is the place that like completely altered my path, and in a good way. Like it's the reason I am where I am today. And so for somebody to recognize that and think that it's special, I can't tell you if they think it's special, it's amplified by a million for me. And to have my wife here and share that, and there's former teammates walking up right here, this is my place. Like, this is the place that I know, again, it sounds cliche, but it holds like a very dear spot, like in my heart for real. So,
Rob, I'll let you get to it, but congratulations and enjoy your evening.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
Thanks again to Todd Hubka, Rob Greeno, and Rob Watt for joining us this week, and congratulations to both Robs on their respective inductions into the PBA Hall of Fame. It is that time of year again with banquets and awards nights happening, and we are hoping to catch a few more before the spring season begins. A tip of the cap as well to our Platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs and AHP Academy, for all they do for us and for baseball in Alberta. We'd also like to thank all of you for the kind and encouraging words around the launch of Saskatchewan Dugout Stories. We would love to add a few more sponsors to our roster, so if you're interested in helping us cover costs and spreading the news of baseball on the prairies, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.